I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about, can avoidants miss their anxious ex? No.
Yes.
Wait, oh yes?
No?
Oh, of course. Of course. But when you're going through it, you really doubt it.
Yeah, you do.
I remember
You start to wonder, was I too anxious? Did I push them away forever?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember that feeling of, oh my gosh, my ex is never going to miss me. They're happy. They moved on. Do they ever think about me? Have they ever thought about me again? Yeah. Will they? Of course they do.
Or you just think, was I too much? Did I overwhelm them? Are they just so annoyed with me that they never will reconsider this?
Sure. And you do want to consider your behavior because it is going to have a big impact on them and their desire to reach out. So please leave your ex alone. Let them feel the space. But we're going to talk about them missing you. What do you think, Coach Victoria?
Well, those with avoidant attachment styles, they still do attach. And I know there's a lot of misinformation online nowadays just about attachment styles, about mental health in general. So an attachment style is not the same thing as a personality disorder. There's people out there saying that those who are avoidants lack empathy and, other kind of out there comments about avoidance. They still do attach. Now, are there exceptions? Yes, there's going to be people who have severe personality disorders that impact their ability to connect in a meaningful way with others. Yes. Is that going to be all avoidance across the board? No. Avoidants still seek that connection. A lot of times they have a lot of plans in their life to get married, have kids, have a family, and avoidance can be in healthy, long-lasting relationships. So attachment is something that we talk a lot about on the channel. It's something that we believe is super powerful, and they very much attach.
Absolutely.
And if you were the anxious partner in a dynamic, you might have been taking on a lot more of the emotional labor. You might have been the person more responsible for that feeling of connection. But that in itself is something that can be missed. When that's not there, your avoidant ex is going to feel, wait a minute, there's not somebody who's pursuing me. A lot of times relationships can fall into that.
Or taking care of me, or thinking about what I need, or thinking about my day, or thinking about all the things that I have to do that they're always helping me with.
Exactly. Yeah. Or doing those little rituals that keep each other connected, going out on dates, cuddling, watching movies together, all those things that couples do. And so when that energy isn't there in the relationship, when that part of the dynamic is missing, it can be sensed. And relationships, they usually many times can fall into this dynamic of pursuer and distancer, or anxious-avoidant trap. When there's a partner who tends to pull away, and then there's the partner who tends to follow after their partner and pursue, and is the one following the connection more so.
Yep. So everybody has their own balance within themselves, and so you want to become more balanced so you can keep your relationship more balanced. And some of the people that you're going to date are going to struggle with that balance more than others. But when you get more centered, you're going to attract people that are more centered, and you're going to be able to help shift and shape the relationship a little bit better because you're not going to be triggered, right? If you're acting consciously, you're going to make more informed decisions on how you, instead of just reacting to them, maybe pulling away a little bit or maybe smothering you a little bit more.
Right. And if you're somebody who's more anxious and you are aware of some of your behaviors that might have been overwhelming your partner, sure, your partner might feel a sense of relief after the breakup.
Sure.
Maybe immediately after, they might not go straight into longing for you and missing you, especially if you've been blowing up their phone and badgering them and begging and pleading and showing up at their door. We talk about this all the time. It's hard to miss somebody who's harassing you. It really is.
Yeah.
And so there could be that sense of relief initially. After some time, though, that feeling of, oh, okay, I get some space to breathe, it becomes uncomfortable. Now they're having more space than they're comfortable with. Now that relief turns into loneliness, and now they're like, wait a minute, now there's something missing here. There's not somebody who's texting me or checking in on me.
Yep.
You know, these types of things. And that lack of connection is felt.
I just can't help but think about, like, okay, this is maybe the first time in their life they had somebody that genuinely cared about them. And how many of you have said that or heard that from them? Like, they say to you, you're like the first person to do this thing for me, or this first person to care about me.
Or I've never been loved this way.
Yeah, and then you're like, then why would you leave? And it's like, well, for a lot of complicated reasons.
Yeah.
But they don't forget about that. They don't forget that somebody authentically was there for them, met their needs, cared about them, showed up, was consistent. And, you know, because of all the trauma and neglect that can overwhelm them and scare them. But when there's that space, they feel it. That pressure is gone, and it's replaced by longing and missing and wondering and doubting and all these other things.
Right, and you have to remember that the avoidant attachment style, the way they are is because that's their way of coping. It's a maladaptive way of coping, or like an unhealthy or unhelpful way of coping with things. And so yes, there is something comforting about going back to your ways of coping that you know are tried and true. Well, I know that if I isolate myself and I distance myself from other people, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to have time to myself. I can reset. The other side of the token is that you never really grow. You never really feel connected or are able to expand past yourself just in life and in your own personal growth. So that in itself can be limiting, and that's something that an avoidant can experience too.
Yeah.
You know, like I had said in the beginning of this video, they still want attachment, they still want connection, and they know, or a part of them knows, that they're never going to reach those goals unless they're able to have some flexibility in their relationships. And so that sense of loneliness of, am I ever going to be in a loving partnership? Will I ever really be able to trust someone or let somebody in? That in itself can scare them. Maybe not as much as on the surface, but those are also thoughts that, you know, can cycle in their mind.
And I feel like it almost causes them to shut down within themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Can
So
be overwhelming.
even them, they can overwhelm themselves.
Yeah, it's
by
true.
thinking that, like, they're just kind of like, I don't even know what to do with this.
Yeah. It can be a lot. So we have spoken with avoidant dumpers who, trust me, they are missing their ex. Maybe an opportunity with their ex has passed. Maybe they've dumped somebody and now that person doesn't want to repair things or get back with them.
Yes.
We've also spoken with avoidants who have been dumped by their ex, and they couldn't have cared less the first couple months of the relationship. They were out. They were like, yeah, it was actually nice. I got to go to Cancun.
I thought I was totally over that person. I was completely done with them.
I was at peace.
I felt good.
Yeah.
I was confident about the breakup. And then they wake up one day and it's like the breakup happened the day before.
Yeah, it's so...
You guys would not believe how many dumpers I have talked to over the year. They ended a relationship. They thought it was great. They thought they were totally over it. And then they are completely devastated months later. And it's like the breakup just happened. It literally is like they woke up the next day and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Even though it's months after. So believe me, just because your ex looks like they're doing so great and so wonderful right now does not mean it's going to stay that way, because a lot of times it hits them hard when you have started to recover. Okay? It's almost like we're the opposite ends of this in the breakup, where at the beginning you're devastated and you slowly get better, and then if they're fine with it and then they slowly get worse.
Yeah, their way of processing is completely different. And this is something that I see a lot, is somebody who's more anxious, they just apply the way that they handle things to everybody. Oh, well, I would have reacted this way, so my ex probably is thinking or reacting this way too, or why aren't they, or they should be, right? When somebody who with an avoidant attachment style, they have a completely different way of viewing the world, viewing relationships, viewing intimacy and closeness. And so for them, you know, they are able to manage that space and that distance a little bit better. That feels safe. That's their MO, their
Yeah.
go-to, until it becomes uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
until it's too much.
Yeah, it's like eventually they're like, where am I? What happened? They're not coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Did I lose them? What was I doing? Why would I lose them? They were so good to me. So it's confusing when you're going through it, and the scary part is wondering if they'll ever get to that point where they'll reach out and want to repair things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of uncertainty there because not every ex is going to reach out. And some may reach out years later to you. I mean, how many times years later? Or you finally moved on and you're dating somebody new and then they come back. So there are a lot of different situations that play out in a lot of different types of breakups. But just know that your ex is going to think about you. They're going to miss you. Mm-hmm. They're going to think about how great you were. They're going to think about how you showed up for them better than many other people did.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be able to forget that stuff.
Yeah. And I know it can be easier in some ways to just think that your ex doesn't care. While that might be the more hurtful thought, it can be easier because it feels more concrete. Well, if I just think they don't care, then I could just move on. Right? Sometimes we want to out-avoidant the avoidant by saying, well, they don't care anyways, and we get angry. Sometimes we can get hateful towards just avoidance in general. But the reality is there is a lot of uncertainty around it. Mm-hmm. What if your avoidant ex can miss you and they don't reach out? Then what does that mean? What if they do miss you and they're going through a completely different process of emotions? Then what? You know, there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to relationships and human emotions, and we have to be okay with that. There has to be a level of acceptance towards that, especially in a breakup, and especially if you're open to repair. You know, we find sometimes there's situations where somebody who gets dumped becomes so angry that they can block attempts from their ex to try to reconnect. We talked to somebody not long ago who had, just completely avoided any of their ex's attempts at reaching out or just those bid for connections or those indirect directs.
Yep.
And then later they're thinking, man, I really wish I had a chance with this person. So the reason why we're making this video is just to give you more information on the avoidant attachment style for you to better understand why they are the way they are and for you to navigate through the breakup a bit easier.
Yep.
Keep in mind, just because they do miss you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to equate to them working through these issues. This is a disclaimer we have. Mm-hmm. While we don't agree with the avoidant hate, we also don't think that you should just, blindly tolerate any behavior or neglect that you're experiencing. So just keep that in mind too. We give you this information for you to make better decisions.
And you always want to focus on yourself during a breakup. The best thing you could do for yourself is focus on personal growth. Focus on, the Understanding Attachment Styles playlist that we have, the Be a Master in Relationships style, or Be a Master in Relationships playlist that we have. You want to focus on those kind of videos. When you see a video that has a low amount of views, it's probably because it's good for you. And people don't like what's good for them. They want junk food. You guys want junk food in the form of videos. And the stuff that's good for you, you're avoiding.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's sad. We were just having this conversation where there's a lot that's online that's very clickbaity, and we're guilty of this to an extent too, but we always try to give you the substance. We always try to give you something that will help you improve your relationships in the long term, and that's not always going to be the most sensational thing to hear. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, we keep putting out the no contact videos because we know it's what you want, but we keep trying to force you. We're trying to put the medicine in the applesauce to get you guys to listen to the really healthy stuff and to get the good stuff that's going to really help you. It can be very consuming to just obsess about no contact videos. But if you really love this person and you want them back in your life, you're going to likely have to make some changes and adjustments to have a healthier connection. Maybe you were part of the reason that the relationship ended. Maybe you were too smothering. Maybe you didn't communicate well. There's a lot of different things we could do. Bettering yourself and getting yourself into a more confident place, that's a win-win.
Yeah.
If they come back, great. If they don't, you are in a much better place for anybody else that you want to date.
Right. And we're not going to just talk about the extremes. We're not going to say your ex is going to come back 100% of the time. And we're not going to say you should hate your ex and, they should completely be banned from your life. So
Wait, I want to ban them.
You want to ban them from your life?
There's a couple people I'm going to ban. Submit a form and I'll apply. And you can apply to have them banned.
I wish. No. And I know there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be certain situations. But for the most part, we want you to deal with the reality of uncertainty. We actually have a video about how to deal with breakup uncertainty out there too. So we have a lot of content to help you better understand relationships, better understand breakups. We're hoping that this can help you through the process, because that is what it is, a process.
Do the work, do the work, do the work, do the creative healing course, do the workbooks. They're going to help you tremendously. There are so many therapeutic activities, especially in the creative healing course. Instead of focusing on negative things, you're focused on learning and growing and healing and processing. It's a much better avenue than just obsessing about what secret message to send your ex to get them to come running back, because it doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
All right, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.